Okay, so lecture 2 of chapter 6, which is we are going to focus on second subtopic measure of location, but it is for the group data. Okay, so the learning outcome for this lecture is at the end of this topic, students should be able to find and interpret the mean, mode, median, quartiles and percentile for group data. Okay, if you look at the ungrouped data, we also have how to draw a box and whiskers, but for group data we won't have it. Okay, so it's just find and interpret the mean, mode, median, quartile and percentile for group data. Okay, so what it means, the same as the ungrouped data, means is the average of the data. Okay, but because this is a group data, so if a set of group data given a frequency distribution, for example in the form of class interval, the mean is equal to x bar equal to the frequency of the first group multiplied with the middle point of the first group, and then we add up for every groups. Okay, for every groups we should have the frequency and the middle point, and then we have to divide the total with the total frequency of the data. Okay, so the formula should be summation of fx divided by summation of f. X is the midpoint of the ith class and fi is the corresponding frequency. So to key in the data in calculator FX570MS, which is the blue one, so we need to change the mode into SD, and then we have to key in the data. Okay, for ungrouped data we don't have to put the frequency. Okay, we just have to key in the value of X, which is the data, the raw data. But for the group data we have to key in the middle point of the first group, and then press shift and then press comma and then put the frequency of the first group and then press the M+ button, and then we can continue with the next data. Okay, and after you finish key in every data, then you can press the AC, and then to find the summation of fx we just press shift and then choose button 1, and we can choose either summation of x for the summation of fx in group data. And then to check our answer, we can press the shift and number 2 to choose the x bar. X bar is the mean. For the calculator ES, so first we have to press shift, set up, and then we go down and press the stat on, and then the mode should be in static, and we choose the number 1, which is the variance. Okay, and then what we need to do, we just key in data x1, the first middle point, and then just equal, and then continue with x2. So you just follow the tables given in the calculator. Okay, make sure the frequency is on the correct position for the correct row for the middle point. Okay, and then after you finish key in all the data, you press AC, and then you can choose shift 1 and then 3 to calculate the summation, and then to check the average, the mean, we can press shift 2 and 4 and then choose the x bar. Okay, so for example 1, calculate the mean of a life content of 40 batteries. So now we know that the total frequency, total summation of f is equal to 40. Okay, so we know the f, the frequency for each of the group. So how to find the value of x? What is x? So x is the midpoint of each of the group. So here we have 1.5 to 1.9. So what we need to do, we just have to total up 1.5 with 1.9, and then we divide it by 2. So 1.5 plus 1.9 is equal to, yes, 3.4. So divide by 2, it will be 1.7. Okay, so we do it for every class. So we have the midpoint, and then what you need to do, we just use the calculator to calculate the summation of f. And then if you key in every value of x and f respectively, then you can just use calculator to find what is the summation of fx. Okay, this is like this is the FIXI. So actually we have a table here, and then usually if you do this using the manual, so we will calculate 1.7 multiplied by 2 is 3.4 and so on. So because we can use the calculator to find the summation of f and summation of fx, we can just let it empty. Okay, so continue. So summation of f directly equal to 40, summation of fx equal to 136.5 by using the calculator. So the mean is equal to 136.5 divided by 40. So you don't need to list out all the f and x. So the answer is 3.4125. Okay, what is mode? So we know mode is the most frequent. Okay, so but how can we tell the value that is the most frequent? Because in group data we only have the class of the data, right? So mode can be calculated by using this formula for the group data. So mode x cap is equal to L plus D1 over D1 plus D2 multiplied by C. So what is this L, D and C? So L is the lower class boundary of the mode class. Okay, so we have to know what is the mode class first before we can use the lower class boundary. So how to determine the mode class? The mode class is the class that has the most value of frequency. Okay, so we can determine from the table. And then the lower class boundary is the, you have to calculate the lower class boundary. So if the table gives you the class limit, then you have to calculate the class boundary. And then the next one is D1. D1 is the difference between the mode class frequency and the previous class of the mode class frequency. Okay, so let's say we have the mode class in the second group. The mode class in the second class means that we just find the difference with the frequency of the mode class with the class before this, which is the class number 1. Okay, so D2 is the difference between the mode class frequency and the class frequency after the mode class. And C is the, what is C? The class width. So you have to find the class width by using the boundaries, not the limit. So what is the difference between boundary and limit? Okay, so this is the example. Find the mode frequency distribution given below. So what we have here, 15 and 19. 15 to 19 is the class interval. And the next class is 20 to 24. Okay, this is what we call as limit. Okay, so the limit here is not what we use to find the lower boundary and the class width. What you need to do is to change into class boundary. So how to find the class boundary? So the class boundary is that you have to find the upper limit and add up with the next lower limit and divide by 2. So what is the class boundary here? It should be 19.5, right? So the lower boundary of the next class should be the same lah, 19.5. Okay? Hiyo. Okay, so if we see this class, so we can say that the fourth group is the mode class because it has the highest frequency. And then the next step is to find the class boundary. So you don't have to find for every class, we just have to find the class boundary of the mode class. So what is the class boundary? So the lower class boundary is a 30 plus 29 divided by 2, which is 29.5. And then the next step is to find the class size. So class size, we just have to subtract the upper boundary with the lower boundary. Okay, so the mode is equal to L. What is L? Lower boundary, which is 29.5. And then 13. What is 13? 13 is 35 minus 22. So the class before the mode class. So 35 minus 22 is 13. And then divide by 13 plus, yes, the mode class frequency with the frequency of the next class. So 35 minus 20 equal to 15. And then the class size is 34.5 minus 29.5, which is equal to 5. And then you just need to calculate, press your calculator and get the value of mode. Okay, so if you remember, if you use the histogram, okay, so the mode we can find the mode by using the drawing of the histogram. Okay, so median. So median is the value for which 50% of the observation lie either side of it when arranged in ascending order. Means that it will be in the middle lah. Okay, so the median class should be determined first before calculating the median. So how do we determine the median class? Okay, so the median class should have the 50th frequency of the data. So the median lies at the n/2 observation by referring to the cumulative frequency. So let's do the example. The median formula. So median can be calculated by using formula median, which is equal to the lower boundary of the median class plus with the n/2. What is n? The total frequency lah, over 2 the total data, and minus the cumulative frequency of the class before the median class, and divide with the frequency of the median class and multiply with the class size. So this is the LK, lower boundary of median class, and its total number of observation. Capital FK minus 1 is cumulative frequency before the median class, and C the class width, and FK is the frequency of median class. So let's do this. For example 3, find the cumulative frequency and calculate the median. Okay, so what you need to do is to draw back the table and put the cumulative frequency for each of the class. So what is the cumulative frequency? So the first group, the first class should be 1 lah, so we don't have to add before this. And then for the second class, it should be 3 plus with the previous, which is 3 plus 1 equal to 4. And then the next one is 5 plus with the previous cumulative frequency, which is 9, equal to 9. And then so on lah. So we have 16, 29, 38, 45, 48 and 50. So how to determine which is the median class? Okay, so because we have 50 observation, so which one is the middle? So it should be 25. So 25 in which class? So here is from 1 to 1 only lah. Here is the second observation to the fourth observation, and then here will be from 5th observation to 9th observation, and here is from 10 to 16, and here from 17 to 29. So 25 will be here lah, in between 17 to 29. So that's why our median class will be the 21 and 25. Okay, so now we determine the median class. The next step is to find all the values we need to put into the median formula. So what we need in the median formula? So we need the lower boundary of the class. They give you the limit. So what is the boundary? So 21 plus 20 divided by 2 equal to 20.5, and then the cumulative frequency for that before the median class equal to 9, 16, and then the frequency of the median class, which is equal to 13. So check back the table. So equal to 13 here, and then we need to know what is the size of the class. So 25.5 minus 20.5 equal to 5. So you need to use the class boundary, and then just substitute all these values. So we have LK 20.5 plus with the 50 divided by 2 and then minus the cumulative frequency of the previous class, and then divide by the frequency of the median class and multiply with the class size. So we get the answer 23.95, which is 23.96 is in between 21 to 25. Okay, so how about quartile for group? So if you see the formula of quartile here, so we have QK, means that quartile, which quartile? K, the first quartile, so Q1, or the second quartile, Q2, or the third quartile, Q3. So it's depend on the formula of median. Why? It will be the same. The difference is only the value here. So if the quartile K, so you need to find the first quartile K equal to 1. So it will be K over 1 over 4. So it's 1 over 4. It's the first quartile, 25% of the data. Okay, that's why K over 4 multiplied by N. So the formula will be the same for every quartile. And how about the percentile? What do you think about percentile? So for percentile, if you want to find P of 70 only, so we need to find the lower boundary of the 70th class. And then this K, so this is K lah, betul tak? Okay, 70. So this K is 70 but not divided by 4. Percentile is divided by 100. Okay, and then multiply the N and minus F of K minus 1 divided by FK multiply the class size. So it will be the same for median, quartile and percentile. The difference is only this value. Okay, it's either, kalau median we have 1 over 2n, n divided by 2. For quartile we have K over 4, and percentile it will be K over 100. Okay. Okay, so it will be the same lah. LKN, FK, A1 minus 1, and FK it will be the same, and C also will be the same. So percentile also the same. So this is the formula for percentile. Okay, so we just need to know first, where is the class? Which one is the class for the 70th observation? Lies. Kth observation? Lies. So here the difference with the quartile we have K over 100. The difference with the median it will be the median is 1 over 2 of n. The quartile is K over 4 of n. Okay. Please remember, first quartile is the 25% of the data, so 25th percentile. The second quartile is the median, which is equal to the 50th percentile, and the third quartile is equal to the 75th percentile. And interquartile range is the range between first quartile and the third quartile. So Q3 minus Q1. Example 4. For the frequency distribution given below, okay, so we have this class interval and its frequency, and the class interval is in the form of limit, not boundary, because 20 to 29, 30 to 39, so it's not connected from the next to the next class. And then the question asks you to find the mean, find the mode, median, first quartile, third quartile, interquartile range, 10th percentile, and the value of m is 30th percent of the data is greater than m. Okay, let's do step by step. So how about the mean? First, what you need to do to calculate or list down the important thing that we will use in the formula. First, the class boundary for every class interval. So find the class boundary. So we can find for the first class first. So the upper boundary should be 29.5. Okay, so the lower boundary should be 19.5. So it will be continue with the next group. So this value class boundary should be same for the upper limit of the previous class with the lower limit of the next class. Okay, and then the midpoint. Yeah, the midpoint, we just have to find the average, the midpoint between the two lower boundary and upper boundary. So 19.5 plus 29.5 and divide by 2, we have 24.5. And then find the midpoint for each of the class. So we have this value. The next one is to find the cumulative of frequency. Why? Because it's important to determine the median class, the mode, not mode class, the median class, the quartile class, and the percentile class. So find the cumulative frequency of each class interval. So the first one we have 4, the second one should be 15, the third one should be 35, the fourth one should be 80, and then the next one will be 105, and then 117, and then the last one is 120. Okay, so we have all the information. Now we can find for mean and so on. So how to find the mean? You can just directly use your calculator to find the summation of fx. So by using the calculator, you get 6580 as the summation of fx, and then summation of f equal to 120, which is the total frequency. So calculate, you have 54.83. Now you can just check back, is your answer correct by using the formula in the calculator. Okay, the next one is to find the mode. So what is the mode class? The mode class with the highest frequency. So from the table we have the 49.5 to 59.5 as the mode class. Then what we need to do is to find the difference between the frequency of the mode class and the previous and the upper after the mode class. So what we have is the lower boundary is 49.5 and then plus with the difference between the mode class and the previous class is 25, and the difference between the mode class and the next class is 20, and the class size is 59.5 minus 49.5, which is equal to 10. So calculate this value, we get the mode equal to what? 55.06. The next question, we need to find the median, right? So first we need to know which class is the median class. So where is the median class lies? So because we have 120 observation, so the median should be on the 60th observation. So which one has the 60th observation? So we need to determine by finding it in the cumulative frequency. So if we look at the table, where is the 60th lies? So we have 4, 15, 35, 80. Oh, 80 is more than 60. So 60 should be in between in these values now, because the 36th observation to 80th observation. So the mode class, the median class should be, yes, 49.5 to 59.5. Okay. So now what you need to do to substitute the values, lower boundary and then n over 2 and then minus with the cumulative frequency of the previous class and divide with the frequency of the class, multiply with the class size. So now we get the answer, which is equal to 55.06. Okay, so the next one is to find the quartile. Which quartile we need to find? The first quartile. So the observation of the first quartile should be 1 over 4 of 120. So the observation number 30. Okay, so this should be 30th observation. So where is 30th observation lies? So 30th observation lies in the third class boundary with boundary 39.5 to 49.5. So we just need to substitute all the value lah. So what is the formula? The lower boundary equal to 39.5 and then the value of k over 4n we found it, which is equal to 30th, and then minus the cumulative frequency of the previous class, which is equal to 15, and divide with its frequency, with its class frequency, which is 20, and multiply with the class size. So the answer should be 47. And then the next question is to find the quartile 3. Can you try to find the quartile 3? So determine first which observation is it. So where it will lies. Okay, so 3 over 4 of 120 is the, yes, multiply by 3, so 90th observation. So it will lies in the 59.5 to 69.5 boundary. Okay, so just substitute the value 59.5 plus with 3 over 4 of 120 minus 80 because it's the cumulative frequency before the third quartile class, and divide with the frequency of the third quartile class, which is 25, and multiply with the class size equal to 10. So the answer should be 63.5. Okay, so the next question is to find the interquartile range. What we need to do, you subtract Q1 from the Q3. So Q3 63.5 minus Q1, which is equal to 47, equal to 16.5. Okay, so the next question is to find percentile 10. So P10, so the value of K is equal to 10. So what is P10? It will be 10 over 100 of 120th observation. So we have 12 observations. So where is the 12th observation lies? So it will lies in the second class, which is 29.5 to 39.5. Okay, so we just need to substitute all the value for the P10. So equal to the lower boundary, which is 29.5, plus with the observation, which is 10 over 100 multiplied by 120 minus the cumulative frequency before this class, which is the frequency of the first class only, and then divide with the frequency of the second class, which is equal to 11, and multiply with the class size, which is equal to 10. So the answer should be 36.77. Okay, so the next question, so let's see the questions first. So question H, So what the question asks you to find? Wait Okay, so let's see the question first. Ayo. The value of m if 30th of the data is greater than m. Okay, now our data is more than 30, right? So it should be on the 70%. 30% of data is greater than m. Okay, so what is the position of m? So we need to find P70. Why? Because at the P70, the 70% of the data will be less than this x value. So more than that, or m value lah. So more than that, it will be 70%. That's why it will be P17 that we have to find. Okay, so for question number H, please bear with me. How to go to the next slide? Okay, means that this value of m is actually the 70th percentile. So P70, so the observation of 70 over 100 multiplied with 120, which is equal to 84th observation. So how to find P70? So we just need to find the boundary, the class first. So 70th observation will lies, 84th observation will lies in the 5th class, which is 59.5 to 69.5. Okay, and then yes, we need to just substitute into the formula. So m is actually P70%, so equal to the lower boundary of the class, which is 59.5 plus with the 84 observation minus the cumulative frequency before this class, which is 80, and divide with the frequency of the class, which is 25, and multiply with the class size, which is equal to 10. So calculate, we get the answer 61.1. Okay, so if we look at the group of the class, and we want to find which this 84th observation lies, so it will be, so we see here, this is data 1 to 4. This one is 5 to 15. This one is, the next 15 is 16 to 35. Here will be 36 to 80. And here will be 81 to 105. So the 84th observation should be here lah. Why? Because after 81, it should be 82, 83, and 84. So 84 should lies in this class interval and class boundary. Okay, so we just have to determine first where is the observation lies. Which group is it? Which class is it? Okay, so I hope you understand how to find all of this value lah. Okay, that's all for the group data. So for this subtopic 6.2, so we finished already for both ungrouped and group data. The next lecture, which is the lecture 3, the last lecture, we are going to focus on measure of dispersion, where you will learn how to find the variance, the standard deviation, and lastly the Pearson coefficient. Okay, so Pearson coefficient of Q-ness. That's all for both ungrouped and group data. So please stay tuned with the lecture 3. Thank you, class.